Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Oh my goodness, we are in week 3, and this is amazing. My name is Jessica, and I'm with my dear friend Irene, and we have put together an amazing session for you guys to focus on play. So week 1, we did presence. Week 2, we did connection, and then this week we're going to focus on play. Irene, what would you like to share about play?
Yeah, I'm excited about this topic, especially, and it is, just to remind you, the journey that we got here, play is also connected a lot with our mindset. Actually, how do we see a challenge? Like in our life, is it like in in an explorative way, in an adventurous way? So that's why I find this playfulness is also an important practice in our self-compassion, in our resilience as well. So as before, I'm gonna share with you just to give a structure to this session. Yeah. So just to be sure you're in the right space. This is about playfulness, and we had the previous sessions were about presence and about connection. And we have a quite similar agenda as last time. We are here actually. We are holding space and offering a practice. So see what works for you and what you want to keep in your day to day, and the one you don't really that doesn't fit me so well. Just let that go. We are not forcing you to do anything. So yeah, in particular, we are going to reflect on the theme playfulness, and I'm going to also offer you an embodiment exercise. Yeah, because play can also be very much in the body. And then you'll have opportunities to share with each other in the breakout rooms, and we wrap up. So as before, we have these ground rules, just share from your own experience. And here we are in a safe space, no judging, not judging towards yourself either. And in the breakout room, it's fully confidential. We are not recording the breakout room. So yeah, feel free to open up more. And yes, so the exercise embodiment will involve like moving around, maybe even moving around your space, yeah, if you want. So just keep that in mind, that you don't stumble on anything. And without further ado, playfulness. We can connect that in with also things that that we are passionate about, and what motivates us. And also what brings joy in our day to day. And just to reflect on this is my personal story, but I also hear this from people, like how after we are working on our career, at some point, like there's like, wow, it feels very empty, like, okay, why am I doing this? Like there's a bit of that existential crisis, and then we are evaluating again, like, okay, like, and we start asking this question again, like, what am I really passionate about actually? Like what is worth getting out of bed each morning? What do I want to create in the world that brings me also excitement and joy every day? So I'm curious,
Can I add to that, Irene?
Yes.
I think a lot of times I forget who says it. I mean, it could be Einstein, it could be Oscar Wilde, I'm not sure, but it's you can live your life in 2 different ways. One is if everything is a miracle, or as if nothing is a miracle. And I think in the context of play, it is such a powerful and important nuance for the framing. Because if you get up in the morning and say, I have to brush my teeth, I have to eat my breakfast, I have to go to work, you already start the day with kind of a cloud and a little bit of heaviness. Whereas on the other side, if you're like, oh my goodness, I get to brush my teeth, I get to have my breakfast, and I get to go to work. Yes. That like excitement and that kind of playfulness, or that kind of framing, I personally believe and have experienced to be a needle mover. So especially on those days when you might not feel as motivated, it's a quick hack to kind of hijack your system. And just a small word, have to, get to, easy. I mean,
Yeah.
easy in explanation, difficult in implementation. It takes practice.
Yeah, that is also kind of affecting how our, yeah, I think like, is it called NLP, like neuro linguistic? Yeah, that kind of the things we say to
Programming.
others, to ourselves. Yeah, that also affects how we view things. And yeah, it is actually kind of a gift. Every day is a gift. And then what are we gonna, yeah, what are we gonna make out of it? And that's kind of an exciting opportunity
Mhm.
to explore.
Yeah, just get excited about everything. I mean, I know a couple weeks ago when we were talking about the different layers of like the clouds and everything, when you really think about it, you have, you know, the universe inside every single object, and yet every single object is part of the universe. So if you think about, you know, and how things are made, the clouds, what are the different components for the clouds? How did the clouds get up there? Okay, maybe we're getting a little philosophical, but if you think of it at like all those different layers, it's just a fluffy cloud, or is it an entire universe of things moving around? So when you just kind of get a little bit curious, I think that, at least for me, has been a very powerful way to, you know, start increasing that playfulness and that joy and tapping into that passion.
Yeah. I'm curious also, like, yeah, what are you passionate about? If anyone would like to share, I can share a bit, you know, like what I'm passionate about is actually, yeah, actually it's about people for sure, about relationships, kind of when, yeah, kind of to, yeah, to have that genuine kind of human to human connection with other people, that is just like, okay, that I'm being myself and the others being themselves. That's really kind of yeah, something I'm passionate about. And that also I bring into, you know, my professional life as well. And that also kind of the things that drive me towards, you know, why I'm becoming yeah, why I become a therapist. And you know, like, as a, you know, I'm supporting people also in their personal development, which is a lot actually about self-discovery. And it's again about like, okay, coming back around, like, because to be able to offer that, yeah, genuine connection, we need also to understand ourselves. And yeah, to be accepting of ourselves. And then that's also what I love, you know, but kind of facilitating this to other people. um I'm curious, what's your story, you know, like, if you like to share, maybe Jess or someone else.
No,
Yeah.
I would like to share,
Yes,
Irene.
oh.
I'm passionate about about making music. So I
Hmm?
love making music, playing my instrument, and playing music with other people. So that's the most, I think, in Corona time, it's an epidemic. It's difficult because we don't get to play outside. You don't have, you can't gather with your bandmate. Making music is the most fun. And why? It's the ultimate way of working together with other people, in my experience, because you cannot talk because you have to focus on your instrument, but you have to be in sync, because otherwise you're out of tune, you're out of rhythm. So you get this idea of being together without talking, and then in the best way of synchronization. That is, I hardly see this in my work environment. It's in the music environment I experience this, and the work environment is very rare. Or it's more rare.
Yeah,
It's a
That's
yeah.
my
powerful way of
passion.
communication. It's a nonverbal communication, which is
Yes.
it's powerful.
Yeah, that
Exactly.
you're tuned in, and kind of you're, yeah, you're also a kind of a part of a bigger something, you know, like, because
Exactly.
you really need to collaborate with each other in through the sound you make in your music. And I just want to acknowledge Claudia, my dog. Yeah, dog is the passion, and also about being part of one particular group. So I think that's also, you know, like something that that resonate with what we just shared, Rob. Myself also kind of like, okay, being part of something bigger that creates
Mhm.
something beautiful, offer something valuable. Hmm.
And
What?
internally, I'm passionate about being fully present.
Hmm.
There's nothing better than just having that moment. It's not a destination, but it's a journey. And so every moment you have the possibility to be present or to not be present. And so for me, I'm quite passionate about creating a life where I'm fully immersed in everything that I'm doing at that exact moment. externally, I'm very passionate about helping people find that moment of joy. So it means that society has conditioned us to criticize. Society has conditioned us to think that we're less than. Society has conditioned us to think that we're broken when we're whole. And so the moment when somebody realizes that they're whole, and the moment that they realize that what makes them come alive is amazing, and the moment that they're fully present, there's a light that comes on in their eyes, and there's just this energy that I can feel and sense that is intoxicating. Maybe a slight addiction, but definitely a driving force for me, because I love that moment. That's why I do everything that I do, is for that moment. And when those lights come on for everyone that I'm able to cross a path with.
Yeah. Yes, and I really love Jess, like you mentioned about coming alive. Yeah, I think that's really an invitation, or for everyone, like to make it their mission, like that I really believe, like we sometimes like try so hard to be perhaps even to belong to a certain group because of expectation from external source, but to really be truly alive and be yourself, and still like you feel like you're a valuable part of something bigger. That's amazing feeling. I'm curious, when if you would like to share, either of the question, you're very welcome. No obligation. Please unmute yourself if you want to share. Yes.
Yeah, actually, I don't feel really well, so I feel that I need to take a rest right now. So sorry for that.
That's okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
I love your passion for your personal health. Thank you. Very important.
Self-care, and we can honor that as well, that okay, you can follow this in a very just a relaxed way, like just take it as your own me time. All right.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, okay, take care. So to kind of to support you further, kind of to explore, and maybe even to to start kind of having playfulness as a driving force, like how is playfulness helping you? So that's a question that that we are going to explore today in this session. And just to
I think one of the other ways to kind of continue to edify and further support Irene, when we're talking about what are we passionate about, one of the sub questions was why. And I think for me, when I'm doing a deep dive to really understand my motivations and the intentions behind it, because we have all the different levels, right? So if we ask ourselves why, we come from ego. And then when we ask ourselves why a second time, we can go, to a deeper level. And then when we ask ourselves why a third time, we go to a deeper level. And usually it takes five whys. So if you can ask yourself why 5 different times, then you can get down to the true intention. And you're the therapist. I'm not a therapist, but based on my work, it's taken 5 times to get from that journey from here to here. And so what you think is here for your first why is usually a lot different from the answer to the 5th why, which generally ends up coming from here, depending on how deep you're willing to dive. But if you're kind of, with Rob's example, the music, or with, anything like that, what is it that makes that important? Is it because of something within? Is it because of the emotion or the reaction that it generates? Is it because of a childhood memory? Is it because of, you don't know, right? So going through that exercise of asking the 5 whys, I think, is an incredibly powerful way to also anchor yourself to it, and then make sure that it's a priority.
Yes, I love this exercise, and it is at least 5 ways, I think, to get deeper, and then we usually come closer to our core, what our values are, and who we really are, kind of what's shaping us from inside. So really handy exercise, this why, asking yourself why. Yeah, and this is kind of the big question: how is playfulness kind of supporting you in your life? Yeah, so I'm going to offer a different lens to look at it, and first is from the mind. Yeah, so now I'm kind of jumping a bit here, like about playfulness, and but if you think of when you last time playing, perhaps playing music or playing with the dog, there's always this element of curiosity. And this is kind of how we can self-reflect about the playfulness. Playfulness can be of course can be expressed in many different ways, but in the mind, that's kind of about this, and how curious am I? And again, like how do we how do I see like everyday life? Is it like, oh, everything is like a miracle, like so much amazement, or like same old, a bit like a boring story? But also, like because if we have curiosity, it is also something that that drives us to the growth mindset. Now you're probably familiar with growth mindset, and it is basically about kind of that our openness to learn. Before we get better at something, we just have to learn it. And that's also the reason, like, why as a child, like, we were like so much playing. And if you remember those time, like, it's really about kind of giving something a go. Like, even if you're not sure, okay, am I gonna win this this game or not, just give it a go. And then we try again, like, oh no, I lost this time. But okay, I can give it a try again. And this is something that can translate into our our adult life.
I think this one is like very powerful too, to support what you're saying, Irene. I come from a lot of ego. My ego is incredibly strong. It's not a compliment. It's just I'm in a process of dissolving my ego. So knowing on which part of your body you lean into during adversity is so powerful, so powerful. An example would be, you have boiling water. You can put an egg, a potato, and coffee. The boiling water is the same, but how it affects each one of these products is completely different. So this is part of self-mastery. You have to know, are you the potato, are you the egg, or are you the coffee? And once you know this, you can tap into what's called healthy ego. And so healthy ego is just understanding yourself. There's nothing wrong and there's nothing right. No one's broken. There's literally nothing wrong with you. You are a masterpiece. And so once you understand your own masterpiece, it becomes so easy. Well, not easy, but it becomes easier to understand, how do you deal with setbacks? How do you deal with failure? How do you define failure? How do you give it another try? Since I'm very ego strong, I make everything a competition. I was like, all right, challenge accepted. I'm going to fail forward. I'm going to learn, what did I miss and how do I make it better? You can't do that if you're coming from heart center, because heart center is softer. So heart center is going to be like a potato. An egg is going to be more like the ego, or even the coffee, because the coffee is just like, all right, I'm getting stronger. We got this. I think that, going back to like the questions for like the why will kind of help you with all of this to find out what is the best way for you.
That's a very interesting comparison. The potato, the coffee, and the egg. Yeah. I heard that story before. Yeah, but thanks for reminding it in this context, Jess. Yeah, again,
like, it's important because it doesn't matter what's happening around you, but it's what's happening inside you. And I think it's a beautiful metaphor, because everyone deals with the hot water, right? But for a lot of years within my personal journey, people were saying, oh, you're still able to crush all your goals and you're still able to do all this other stuff, but proximity affects me. So if I'm in a sea of toxicity, I would not function. I had to remove myself from all of it. That's not really being grounded and centered, because true peace is able to stay in equilibrium or equanimity regardless of what's around you. Anyone can be peaceful on a tropical island by themselves, trust me. But to be peaceful in some hot water, or to be peaceful through any kind of adversity, it's a skill. It takes a lot of work.
Yes. Yeah, I remember there's this saying, I think Peter Levine was saying about this, like he's one of my teacher in somatic experiencing, even like, you know, if you put the Dalai Lama, like, you know, in the environment where the, say like the refugees in Lesbos, for instance, have to live, you know, he would probably not be that calm, wise person himself. So it is, yeah, kind of, again, like it's what's in our environment, but also like internally, like how we, how we kind of experience things, and what do we make of it? You know, do we see it as an opportunity, or or is it like kind of like something that's fixed? Oh my God, like setback, failure. Okay, like, you know, it doesn't have to be like that. And this is also a lot about resilience, kind of like that mindset. Okay, you know, it is just one setback, one failure. I can give it another try.
For some of the heart-centered people, another way to kind of frame it, maybe it will help, is something that I learned through my meditation practices has been, I don't accept that gift. So if somebody comes to you with anger, to help you acknowledge that it's them, not you, and that there is a difference between your external world and your internal world. If you think about, everyone is coming up to you with a gift, and you have the choice on whether or not to receive or to reject. So if somebody comes to you with flowers, would you like to take it? Yes or no? Somebody comes to you with anger, would you like to take it? Yes or no? To me, that was very powerful when I fell into like my heart space, because I was sloppy. I was a mess. I didn't know how to handle it for a very long time. And now that's one of the powerful ways for me to understand the different worlds. So maybe for heart-centered people listening, that maybe that can help.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, that was from the mind, and we are going down like to the body. Yeah, and then there is also the heart part of this. And playfulness, like, you know, it can also be experienced so much in the body, actually. Kind of, we have this body, and perhaps like, you know, like when if you do like some like when you were a child, like perhaps like you also enjoy this physical play. Not everyone, perhaps, but there's this always kind of so much richness also, like when we can enjoy like being being in our body and hanging out with our body, but also like exploring with our body. So it doesn't matter what kind of movement practice you're doing. You could be playing sports, or you could be dancing, or just like walking, but we're always using our body. And this is the question that that can support you to reflect. Does movement, kind of movement in general, like, does it give me joy or excitement? And also the other way around, does joy kind of bring me movement? Like when you feel like, wow, it's really fun, and I feel excited, you know, does that also move you?
And free and light, just like last week when we were doing the qigong and like the movement exercises and everything. Maybe we felt a little bit a certain way on one side of our body, but then we felt a different way on the other side of our body. And so you can very easily tie this into safety. So like, for example, when Claudia was talking about, she's passionate about her dog and passionate about being in particular groups. If when you go through a process to identify why you're passionate about that, if there is an element of safety in there, you're going to feel that in your body. So when you feel safe, the sun is going to come out, and then you're going to just feel a little bit more loose. If you don't feel safe, you're going to be a little bit more tense. And Irene and I were talking about this before. Tense would feel kind of like on a cold day and your body is shivering to keep you warm. It's functional, but it's not comfortable. And so if you guys are looking for actual ways on what that feels like from joy to not joy. It could be flowing versus tense.
Yeah, yes. And yeah, it is kind of like this moment that we are also nurturing, kind of like, that's why like big part of this series also kind of we always do embodiment exercise, kind of to really come back home to our body, and sense perhaps like, okay, there's that safety can also be found there. And then from there, like, okay, there's this also like it makes it a habit. Okay, then it becomes more enjoyable to hang out with the body, just be there in our in the here and now. That's where our body is. Okay, curious if there's any reflection, or shall I move on with the next question?
I would like to reflect. I think that's moving, and also for me, that moving is always a good thing. If I move, if it's walking or exercising, you always feel better afterward. But it's surprising then sometimes how often we tend not to move. So we stay behind the desk, or we postpone the exercise, or and that's a strange thing that we know it's good and we have experienced that's good, but maybe more often than we should, we are not doing it. And I think that's a curious thing about movement. So I don't know why that is, but it's interesting to see.
Yeah, it is something with the kind of to make it like more of a habit, what I hear. And it is also okay, like the mindset is clear. Okay, we know like movement is good, healthy movement, like not like really too much movement also that we get exhausted. And like when you talk about habit, creating habit, Rob, it is also basically the secret is about making that like in small bites throughout your day. Perhaps like if you do, okay, if your idea of movement is a excuse me, is about walking for 1 full hour, okay, that might work. But also like there are always like small things that you can do to keep moving. Like, okay, you can set a reminder every hour perhaps. So, oh yeah, I need to get up from my desk and I don't know, do a little dance or do a little stretching. And this becomes kind of easier. That's the trick of making a habit, kind of to make it as accessible, as easy, as simple as possible, so that you can do it right away.
Absolutely. I know that we're still in, world 2.0 and things have changed so much, but another way to kind of support the movement aspect is taking the stairs rather than an elevator or rather than a lift. So as you're taking the steps, I'm a firm believer in active meditation. So as your feet are connecting with those steps and your legs are moving up, feel the point at where the foot makes contact with the ground, and then the muscles that are changing as you're lifting up and then pushing down. And as you're when you slow down the entire system, you're basically dancing upstairs. You're walking, but you're dancing upstairs because of all the different things that are happening. So I think I 100% support, all of the movement. And it could even be as easy as if you're sitting in your chair, throw your shoulders back, stick your chest up, fix your posture, put that chin up, maybe crack your neck a little bit, work your calves, do like a little bit of calf raises, because then it just kind of gets all the energy flowing into different places.
Yeah. We can all do that.
I'm trying not to dance. I'm trying so hard. I'm like, let's get rocking and rolling.
Yes. But create like that mini dance also. And like even when you're sitting, you can't be like just sitting like a stone. There's always like you can play with the spine even. And like even as you're moving along, like in your chair, perhaps, like I'm inviting you also to to reflect on this the emotional world of playfulness. What is the connection with our emotional world? And this is a lot with about our relationship with our inner child. So perhaps like if you've done inner child work, like you have a bit of like, okay, an idea, yes, how is the state of my inner child at the moment, and how I'm relating to him or to her. And a lot of time, especially if we have to grew up so fast, like because of some big adversity. And yeah, we often kind of suppress like this inner child, like we are kind of, like now I need to really be adult, I need some serious adulting now. And we forget about the the inner child that is fun, carefree, that actually kind of brings a lot of joy in our life. So it is about that balance. Of course we can be like responsible adults, but also we are still in touch with that inner child. And this is also kind of I'm not exaggerating to say like this is the key to happiness. And also to sometimes, like when people are in the process of self-discovery, a lot of the answers are actually in the inner child. Kind of like, all right, what do you really want to be, when you are when you feel like, okay, all this safety, like like you feel like that child again. So to support this, these are some questions like that can help you reflect, like, okay, am I allowing this inner child that is in me, every now and then, like some playtime. Yeah. And also you can check with yourself, like when you're having fun, when the last time you had fun, like, okay, what emotions come up? And okay, is it like some that you're allowing yourself that emotions, that the fact that you're having fun, and beware also, like if you experience like, okay, like I feel a lot of guilt when I have fun, or I feel regret afterwards. So that's kind of like some warning sign that, all right, then maybe like there's something to look deeper there inside. And I see, Jess, you want to say something?
I think a lot of it is also connected with, your upbringing, right? So children want to receive love. They want to be seen. They want to be accepted. And if you grew up in an environment that was very supportive of that, then your needs or your inner child will be completely different than if you grew up in a system that was achievement based, because achievement based is very different than being present and being able to do different things. It's not saying that one is right or one is wrong. It's just saying to kind of understand on what that child needs. So I grew up in an environment that was very achievement based, and so we had a lot of I'm proud of you rather than how do you feel. And it's not wrong. It's just that was what our value system was growing up. And if you were still talking about an achievement that you did yesterday, you didn't do enough for today. And so for my inner child, as an example, that's why presence is so important for me, because you're enough exactly as you are. So I think, depending on where you are on the scale for any of like your own inner child work, it's not necessarily that anything is good or bad. It's not that, necessarily like a feeling of safety, or, I mean, it can, but doesn't have to. It could be a feeling of creativity. It can, or it can't. It could be maybe if you're always in states of creativity with how do you feel, maybe it's to push that needle with how are you going to turn this into something that you can do full time. I'm surrounded by a lot of creative people, and their biggest obstacle is being able to accept I'm proud of you or congratulations. So they don't know how to accept compliments because they were never given compliments. They were always asked, how do you feel? And so it's very different depending on what was your environment as you grew up, and what did you seek as a child? What did you desire as a child? And what was that need that maybe or maybe not was met?
Yeah. Kind of to reflect back also, like as a child, like, I think the main thing that a child needs is really unconditional love. And that's sometimes like when because of perhaps because of the family pattern or whatever, that this becomes conditional in through certain expectation. And then it is also kind of like for us now as the adults, like it is about kind of reparenting our inner child again. And yeah, that's actually the process of kind of self-growth often. Okay, I see some of you are a bit like thinking, yeah. So welcome.
I've never done any.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what that then means, what you're doing then. So I'm trying to figure out or get an idea about how do you connect then with your inner child? What is that?
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It is kind of a simple question, Rob, but it's a big process, which like yeah, it is also a tool. I think like yeah, kind of it's used a lot in therapy, but also I believe in coaching. Because this is something that yeah, that sometimes like really touches us like to the core, and that's kind of it. Yeah, it cannot be done like in 5 minutes or in 1 hour session, but it is a practice actually to kind of remember to talk every now and then with our inner child. Like and in my case, like I had like actually actually like I did like this practice for kind of a long period of time, where I really have like a picture of me like as a 4-year-old, and yeah, that I visualize kind of being with her, that she's with me. And when I'm cycling to work or when I'm walking in the park, and yeah, that was kind of the practice that works with me, kind of to keep her like nearby and close to myself. And then that's like when she starts to feel, the inner child starts to feel like, okay, like now she's receiving that love and that acceptance. That was kind of a bit like conditional, like when she was younger.
I think on the for the thinkers as well, to edify what you were talking about, because I come from more of like the thinking side. When you're reconnecting with your inner child, it's pay attention when you get triggered. So if you're in a situation and you are activated and you are triggered by something, this is your inner child begging for you to give them some care. Begging. This is the inner child screaming on the inside saying, hey, I need help right now. Hey, I need you right now. And so it's very difficult for us. Again, it's a process. It's easy to explain, but it's very difficult to implement because it is a process. But say, for example, if I get upset about something that had happened, I can go and point fingers at, why'd you do this to me? Did you do this and the other? Whatever the case may be. I point a finger out, I got 3 pointing back. You always want to turn in. Why am I feeling this way? What is causing this? What did I do to put myself into this position? Did I ignore my intuition? Did I ignore my own boundaries in order to be chosen? Why didn't I choose myself? There's a million questions that you can ask yourself, but in that moment, that's that inner child that is saying, why did you hurt us? So kind of, I mean, for the thinkers, that's on how you can.
Yeah, so it's always there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always there. So you can I can see it like this then.
Yeah, your energy. So you are 3 parts. So everything is 3, right? Everything. You have the mind, body, spirit. You have the Trinity. You have everything. So you have like the inner child, your present person, and then you have your 88 version self, right? So the inner child is the one that you always have to take care of or reparent, no matter what kind of environment you grew up in. Anytime you have a reaction, that's your inner child talking to you. Your dreams and aspirations and everything, and your guiding light is going to be that older version of you. That's what keeps you on your path. So you're always in a position of enjoying that moment, taking care of the younger one, and then going to impress the older one. Yeah. Oversimplified from a coaching perspective.
That's very
We're very action-based. We're very action-based in coaching.
To hear this the tool like from coaching, because like in therapy there's also this schema therapy, which is about that, like there's the child, and then there's the adult, and then there's the parent. So a lot of the time, when we are in that space, like where we are triggered, like, okay, like we feel like there's so much drama, then yeah, it is often like from the needs of the inner child or child, from the past that was not fulfilled, that was not developed enough. And but also like if we are like being very harsh on ourselves, like being very critical, judgmental, that's kind of like the parent that we internalize, like, okay, like, kind of really punishing. So the role of us as the adult in the middle is to, kind of to heal both sides, to balance it, because we are responding to the here and now in in a healthy way, in a safe way.
Like another example of that could be, I know that the US suffers from a lot of codependency and a lot of enmeshment. So if you put this in context of relationships, a lot of people say that you're only complete when you get married. 50% one person, 50% the other person. I do not subscribe to that at all. I think that everyone should come as their best self. Granted, you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. And so it is a sliding thing. It's not 50-50. It's not 100-100. Sometimes it's 80-20. You just never know, right? At the same time, it's about taking personal responsibility. So if you get into an argument with somebody because you feel like they don't care or something like that, it's not that they don't care. It's you've built in your mind an expectation that they were never going to achieve. That's an opportunity for you to say, why do I have this expectation? Why am I not fulfilling it on myself? Why am I expecting somebody else to do this for me? And that puts a strain on the relationship. So a lot of times, if we can kind of like catch ourselves in that moment, just another example, just because I know it's a popular one, that is a moment for our inner child to come out, because when we get angry or when we get upset or when we get hurt about something, then that is an unmet childhood, like child need or wound, if you will, and then that we're projecting in the present moment to somebody else, but they're just the teacher. They just exposed something for us. We should be thankful to them for saying, hi, thank you for letting me connect with my inner child. I'll be back. I got to go work on loving myself just a little bit. And so just another example of what society has normalized versus what is actually a little bit more healthy.
Yeah, that's a great example. Yes. So I'm curious, would you like to explore this in embodiment exercise? Yes.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. So I'm inviting you actually to stand up, or like, I think this is best done standing up. And I'm gonna set up a bit so that I can stand up and still see you. Gonna stop sharing. Haha. Yeah. So perhaps like, start with something very simple. We've done like, okay, connecting with our breathing, connecting with our feet as well. Yeah. So we are again like connecting with the breathing and the movement. So I'm showing you a very simple, with the arms. Yeah. So like we are going to actually reach the diagonal and just kind of open it towards the diagonal as well. You can make a full circle and come back. And just, this is like breathing in and breathing out. And when it's opening, breathing in and breathing out. And also as you get the hang of this, like you can follow the tip of your fingers with your eyes, with your gaze. And just, this is a movement that you cannot do anything wrong with. Like, even if you do it differently, then it's all okay. So again, breathing in and breathing out. And we can try with the other arm. Yeah, so breathing in, opening, and breathing out. So you may also notice there's this kind of the twisting, the rotation of the spine as you're doing this. And you can slow it down much, much more to notice, oh yeah, this sensation of kind of exploring our multidimensionality. Yeah, and often like we are not so often like moving like backward in our backspace here. So yeah, take that one last time in your own tempo. Breathing in and breathing out. So along the diagonal. Yeah. You can switch back to your other arm. So imagine like there's, now these are colors, paints like coming out through of your fingers. Yeah, so you're making like yeah, the space is your 3D canvas. And imagine like, right, you can follow with your gaze of the color, what color it is, it's up to you. What color you're making in your space. Yes, and feel free to switch to the other arms when you feel like, yeah. And I'm going to to introduce you to different qualities, different qualities that you can move. No, we can still use the same movement, but you can imagine, that okay, still the same movement, but you want to make it like a really tidy lines, very neat lines. Like, all right, like it needs to be perfect. It needs to be very neat, very tidy. Not allowed like to color anything outside of the lines.
This one's so much easier for me. The first one I was I'm not connected. This one's
Yeah, so notice also, oh, what's going on, like in the mind and in the emotions, like, oh, does this feel like, like this instruction? All right, just follow along the lines, make it very neat. Okay, and this now comes like, the other side of the spectrum. Like if you want to make this is now just very neat lines, but you also know like there's in the painting there's this expressionist the way like it's so just doesn't matter, like kind of it's just very free. Yeah, and you might notice as well, okay, how is the the texture, space, the speed as well. Notice what changed.
Quicker.
Yeah, so say if you still want to make it slower, but kind of like that's also possible. And use the other arms. Okay, all right. So we have like actually multi-dimensional canvas. We are still practicing with this diagonal. Yeah, so I'm inviting you now actually to start putting your colors outside of these lines that we've been practicing. So you can use all around you. Yeah. So imagine still like you have paints or colors here in your hands. Yeah, you want to make kind of very soft dots, like very fine dots. Just notice, okay, what the quality of the movement. Yeah. And there comes the different experience. Like, okay, what if you want to really make, a really thick plot? Yeah, you're probably like, yeah. Exactly. Just your body knows this. So just play with it. You cannot do anything wrong here. And you can come back again every now and then. All right, okay, I want to make the nice fine dots. See which one feels like comfortable for you, the thick or the fine. plot. And also color the back, your backspace. Make sure also they are painted. Right. I'm going to challenge you a bit. Yeah, I'm going to count till 5. Yeah, you're going to make as many dots as possible. All right, ready? Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And all right, relax. You know, you can a bit leisurely. Okay, you can color again the space here with leisure. Okay, so I'm going to count again till 3. Yeah, make as many dots as possible. Okay, ready? 1, 2, and 3. And relax. Okay. Yeah. And yeah,
Funny, when we do the dots like for fun, it's like all my fingers, but when it's a competition, I'm like boom, 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 boom with only one finger.
yeah, it is also yeah, kind of like the interesting thing is what's going on in our mind. Yeah. So one last exercise. Yeah. So this is like a very you can use all the space around you, and perhaps you might even want to use all body parts, you know, not just the arms. Yeah, so imagine like you have paint all over you. Like, yeah, so kind of that you want to color, you know, the whole space. Kind of, yeah, how do you do that? You know, like just explore with your, yeah, kind of, So there's like maybe the legs also can help. Okay, so like with big strokes, you want to really put colors like very fast, like in a, yeah, in a kind of all-encompassing way. Yeah. And all right, so you have made like these big strokes. Now perhaps you notice, oh, there's a spot that I still miss. So just notice, you know, like, okay, the spot that you still miss, just fill it in. Now you also notice like, oh, there's different way of focusing now, using the attention. Okay.
Masterpiece.
A
masterpiece.
Yeah. And kind of, yeah, take it in a bit, you know, like absorb this experience, right? You know, this multi-dimensional space we are in, kind of just feel it with your, yeah, also with your body. What have you made just now, you know, to absorb that in yourself. Kind of look around. If you feel the need to look also at your back. And come back to yourself. You know, feel your center, touch with your mind, like the center line along your body. Feeling your feet. Okay. So also as a reflection, yeah, was your just now, was your inner child with you? No, did you feel like there was sometimes
It was fun.
Like, yeah, okay, yeah. So this is, you know, a playful exercise with the body, and you know, we can invite our inner child. Yeah, if you do this, maybe not like in this context, but if you're doing it like for fun, I don't know, in the nature or in your own space, like invite your inner child. And yeah, if you like, we can come back to sitting. Yeah, and actually would like to yeah, to see to reflect with your experience. Yeah, I think we don't need to make a breakout room. Yeah, Jess?
We can stop recording for like a minute or like for a couple
Yeah.
minutes or whatever, and we can do like
Yes.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
I'm gonna stop recording.
Just practice in the moment, like, all right, kind of to get in touch with also this playfulness, and perhaps like, okay, this also brings up the inner child, or perhaps like, certain thoughts, certain emotions, certain memories. And my invitation is this, yeah, so when, where, how, with who could you infuse play in your day-to-day life? Yeah, so like just now it was like the space that we co-created together, like we have this possibility with the movement, even though we are in a virtual space, but like, yeah, in your day-to-day there are probably endless opportunities. So that's kind of the
Yeah, I would. My answer would be as much as possible with every connection. That's a little bit of a broad. It's not specific enough. I know, but that's how I feel right now. It would be because then it would be fun, and then it won't be always so serious. So less seriousness, and I think that you can, if you. I think that if you play, that's something I also will. I do also in my work. Try to get people playing. I'm doing serious gaming.
Yeah.
That's my profession. And the most fun of it, I have people with the ties on and the jackets, this is senior management. And when they're playing and they're rolling dice, they want to win. And so, figuurlijk, you see the ties going off. So they stay on, but figuratively, I don't know if it's correct English, they lose all this. They're sitting like themselves as their child on the table, and I think that's very fun to see. And that's also one of the things I get passionate about if I see this happening, because they are not sitting there as senior manager X or with tons of experience. They're sitting there because they want to roll the dice and they want to have a specific score or a number or something is happening. That's nice. So why not with everyone?
Yes, yeah. So it is kind of indeed like an open invitation actually, and yeah, kind of to create also the safety, the structure, like, okay, like because like in the context of work, yeah, it is different, than we are with friends, or or with our children or whatever, with our dogs, that different kind of play can happen. But yeah, kind of setting up that context, that there's possibility, especially in the professional setting, that really can do wonders, because people come closer to themselves. They're being, they're being like more of their authentic self when they play games or play in general.
That's also a trigger, I think, for yourself. If you try to be more playful with someone else, not only their reaction, but also your intention, your state of mind. If you try to play with someone, even if you don't pronounce it or put it on the table, it's nice to tease someone into the fun thing. And I think if you do this with respect and with gradually, depending on the other person, then you can get something going or get something loose.
Exactly.
I think to reinforce that, I think a lot of, being playful with others needs to have the element of trust. Because if somebody is being playful and trust is not established, it can be misinterpreted as not being taken serious. It can be misinterpreted as almost like a disrespect, or just, the intention might be, oh, I feel safe with you. But if the other person doesn't feel safe, it can very easily have that miscommunication or that misconception. So I think, in context of playing socially, it's one thing, but if we're playing professionally, I think it's a beautiful thing when it exists and when it's able to, happen. But I also think that it's something to be very conscious of, that there's a communication of kind of where is that relationship in that exact moment, and is this a place that we can actually have that playfulness? An example would be, have you guys seen the movie Big?
Big? No.
Yeah, there's a movie called Big. Tom Hanks is in it, and he, goes to like this this amusement park, and he makes a wish, and he wants to be a kid again. And so he goes, or I'm sorry, he's a kid and he wants to be big. So as an adult, it's like this entire journey that he's doing, and he has, you know, an adult external, but a child mentality. And he just ends up climbing up all these corporate ladders and doing all these different things. And a woman falls in love with him, but she's very adult. So here you have this man who is like child, and she thinks that he's immature, but he's not. He's just in touch. And he's just like, you're the greatest thing in the entire world. And yes, why wouldn't I care about you? And did this, that, and the other. And she's like in her head. And anyways, it was trust was established on his side because he didn't know, he was ignorant to the harshness of the world, right? Whereas the woman, she had seen so much and experienced so much that she needed to be reassured. So I think that would be a perfect example in terms of a movie where somebody is just exhibiting play from the purity of their existence, and it's misinterpreted on a pretty big scale, both professionally and personally, because of the lack of trust that was established. I don't know if that helps, but that, you know, on two different levels, I think if you can have that play professionally, it's magical. It's very rare. So if you have it, hold on to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's I think what I also meant with the gradual thing. You have to make sure that the other is capable of, or able to do it, but from a sort of like intention, let's find out if it's possible. The curiosity, I think it's a nice way of approaching things. Yeah,
gradual thing. And I think like safety, it's connected so much with trust, especially like to make it clear, the clarity, like, okay, what are the boundaries, what are the structure, what are the intentions, the goals of it. And I think especially like in a professional setting, like probably there's more of this thinking people, like, why are we doing this for? Like, and the quote that I showed you, you know, like that could actually help the thinking people. Look, like we are now kind of exploring with this creative beginner's mind, so that we can see even more possibilities. If we are like seeing ourselves as the expert, we have a bit of this tunnel vision, then we only see limited possibilities. And depending, like, okay, if that's kind of the goal that you have, like in your facilitation, it could be like an opener, a big opener.
Absolutely. That was a really good exercise. That was a new one for me. So that was a really good one. There's so many different things cropping up, and just like, okay, little we're good.
Kind of a check with the inner child also. Okay. Right. Yes, we are also wrapping up wrapping up at the moment. So this is actually the second last. Would you like to explore and engage with us? You know, like next week, it is kind of our final theme is about self-kindness. Would you like that? Okay.
if the schedule permits, then let's see.
Yeah. All right. Yes. All right. Yeah. So I hope that you make the space, you know, because it's going like to be our final session in the series, and kind of like, you know, we've been on a journey, quite a journey from presence, connection, just now playfulness, and self-kindness, and all these practices, like really simple practices that you can do like in your day-to-day. You can reflect about it to help your compassion, to support your compassion practice.
And I think that, you know, next week is going to be very powerful too, because as you continue to do work, personal development, exploration, you know, deep dive, however you want to frame it, it's super duper important to have that self-compassion, that grace towards self. And there's going to be a lot of times that we are able to uncover or unravel, you know, different layers that make us feel unsafe, or make us feel unsure, or make us feel any array of emotions that are out there. And that's normal, because it's part of the process. So when we focus on self-kindness, it's literally being gentle with the entire process, saying, okay, this is a bit much for me, I need to take a step back. Okay, what do I need right now? And it's the different moving parts, because a lot of times we're in week 4. That's going to be week 4. That's when our system starts to hijack, and that's when our system starts to say, we don't want to do this anymore. And so when you understand that that is what your body is naturally as the default, and then we can hold that space to kind of be a little bit more gentle, being like, it's okay, I promise, we're safe. This is kind of the element and the overreaching theme for a lot of the self-kindness. So hopefully that kind of makes you guys feel a little more comfortable. Plus it's a celebration because it's the end of the month of pretty serious work that we've been doing.
Yay, yes, yes. Yeah, and everyone, whatever journey you are, it is kind of like, it's the nature of thing. Like sometimes like we feel, oh, it's a step back, or before we can step forward again. And indeed, like it is this true companion is our self-compassion. And yeah. Well,
So thank you everyone for
yeah,
joining. It's been an absolutely magical
Yeah,
time
thank you.
and space being shared.
yes, and hope to see you next time. Okay,
Have a good
have a
weekend.
good reminder of your weekend. Yes, take care.